So yeah, I was thinking about getting one of the Rodecaster Pros, but they're much more expensive. And not terribly expensive, but about 4 times the cost of this. I got this, and I really like the thing.
Yeah, that one you mentioned. I mean, I've heard that a lot, and
Yeah.
but I haven't this new rig that you got set up here. Nope, hadn't heard of that,
Well,
but it
it's a
looks
kind of a
cool.
budget friendly unit, and it's got two XLR inputs. But the cool thing is, so and we're live, by the way, and we got some people coming in, so y'all feel free to comment. We're just rambling for a few minutes, but the interesting thing is, we had a setup if people needed to call in from a landline, or maybe they had bad um, cellular data service, but they were okay for a phone call. We had a phone number they could call in. Well, that actually routed through Skype because the software we used integrated real well with Skype for that. Um, the problem is Microsoft killed Skype. So Skype is no
Oh,
longer. And so that killed, yeah,
oh,
that killed the our call-in feature, which I was paying about $10 a month or something for that. So anyway, I was like, oh, crap, how am I going to do this? So I got to looking at this. Well, the Rodecaster, which is the more expensive one, and this Vocaster both have the ability to Bluetooth to a phone. So we can have people call my cell phone number and they can call into the show. Pretty cool.
oh, how about that?
Yeah.
I'm glad you are on top of all this technology. Because I can't keep up. I just got to tell you, I cannot keep up. It moves so fast. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lightweight. Y'all all should know that there is no way this show would happen without Rex and his technology. And I remember when you were over there off of Barksdale Boulevard and Central Park, and you were the first time I met Rex, somebody told me about him. They said, hey, there's this tech guy over here. You need to go over there and hook up with him. And went over and met him, and he didn't know it, I guess, at the time, or maybe I don't even remember why I showed up, but maybe I was suckering him into politics. But
Pretty
it
much, yeah.
worked. He took it hook, line, and sinker, and here we are. I don't know
And
how
here
many
we
years
are.
later.
Yeah, that's been a pretty good 10, 15 years now, something like that. I don't know, lost count. So,
Something
all right.
something like that.
So, first of all, hello to everybody that's tuning in. We've got I don't know, a couple of dozen people starting to watch. People are starting to roll in. So we got a couple of things to talk about. The name of the show is Poultry because apparently we're going to talk about chickens.
Who knew the dominating subject of Bossier City and I would say Bossier Parish today would be chickens
Yeah, I don't
again?
know. But look, there was a lot of other interesting comments at the city council meeting today, and they even cut off the stream. I don't think intentionally, but who knows? Maybe Richard Ray ran up there and yanked the Ethernet cord out of the back of their streaming computer real quick because they sure enough went online right in the middle of discussing Richard Ray.
Well, the interesting thing about that comment is that I think we have a pretty good idea that it couldn't have been Richard Ray because he
Uh,
wasn't even in town. He was
right.
in transit, we learned.
Yes, and that is a whole other topic of discussion, and we get to hear from our favorite bull in the china closet, Brian Hammonds. And it is glorious with his comments at the city council. So we've got that coming up. Um, there was a town hall meeting at Hooter Park last night with Miss Deborah Ross. I'll spend a few minutes and just kind of give some highlights about that. And then you may have seen Chris Crackman's lawsuit was dismissed, I think, like with prejudice or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I,
think so.
I, huh. Well, that's
So
good. Good for him.
yeah, so we'll mention a little bit about that. I've got some of the Caddo workshop meeting. There were some interesting comments. We have time. We may go over that, or I may release that as a standalone video. But anyway, so we appreciate everybody watching. How about we do our little countdown? You want to do the countdown this week?
Yeah, let's do it and share it out a few places and ask all of y'all watching to help us out. Let's get some viewers up. I mean, this is actually going to be a show that will be informative on city government in Bossier. So if you got somebody, a friend that lives in Bossier that wants to get, caught up on what's happening within their government, this is actually a good one because I don't know about you, but I really appreciated what was taking place at the council meeting and the dialogue and the debate. It's refreshing.
It is.
And
Well, and it was at that town hall meeting too, but also I guess we need to put the word out. If anybody out there has a rental car business or knows somebody in the rental car business, we need to put the call out or the hashtag for Richard Ray, and we'll discuss some more about that because he might be needing a rental car.
he may need a ride. Let's do it. Let's do the countdown.
All right, here we go. Folks, y'all know the drill. We'll be back in about 2.5 or 3 minutes. Gives you a good chance to go make you a stiff drink, make you some popcorn, whatever. Like Duke said, tag and share this out. We will be right back and get into it.
If folks knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
And I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico and buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS.
We're still right now combined on both pages of YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks.
Through conscious, shocking action, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And we're back. The one thing I've got to get used to is now I'm able to monitor myself through the headset, and there's no latency on it, or at least it's a fraction of a second, but I've just got to get used to hearing myself so I can monitor my levels. So I apologize if my voice seems a little stuttery.
You don't seem stuttery to me. It sounds good, actually. I mean, sometimes you come in too hot, but you're not too hot tonight. I don't know how folks out there are hearing you, but you sound the best to me. But, we're not doing this to appease ourselves.
We are definitely not professional journalists. We are definitely not professional sound engineers. And although I am pretty good at video editing, I am no sound engineer. But anyway, so I've got more control and a better mic, even though the mic was half the cost. This is amazing. Anyway, enough about that. So,
so I'm just wondering, have you, or what about y'all watching? Have y'all been paying attention to some of what's going on in the world? I mean, there's a lot happening today, not just in Bossier City, and Bossier City's not the world, but there's a lot going on from Japan to Ireland. I mean, Ireland, dude, they're like, like massively. It's not a No King's Day. No, this is not that. No, this is This is like almost the whole country over there. They're like rioting, and what is it over? Mass migration. Apparently
migration
there was
into Ireland.
No. All the natives are wound up and losing their crap over all of these, mass migrants, and I'm just going to say it, these Islamists all being poured into their country from the Middle East.
Well,
And but
there's only so many 4-leaf clovers to go around in Ireland.
I know. But apparently somebody decided they wanted a 10-year-old 4-leaf clover, one of those migrants. Took them into a hotel room, raped them, did all of that, and those Irishmen have had enough, and they're burning stuff in the streets and surrounding the government-funded migrant hotels. They're surrounding them, and I hadn't seen any recent updates here in the short while, but it wouldn't surprise me if I don't start seeing some of those hotels burn to the ground.
Well, of course, the irony is, over here, we gripe and complain, when they start burning stuff and tearing up stuff and all that. So, I mean, part of me wants to say, of course, it's in Ireland, it's not here in the U.S., but part of me wants to say, well, they shouldn't do that, but, well, that's their country. I guess they can do what they want.
Yeah, I mean, look, things are upside down, but I have hope. I mean, just this week, we all see what's happening in New York. They're trying to elect a socialist, self-identified socialist and Muslim extremist. And I was laughing because earlier this week, and you know this already, I literally had somebody from New York that called me a socialist. And I thought to myself,
Really?
You're from New York. You're fixing to literally elect a mayor socialist, and you're calling me a socialist?
I was going to say, that's like the epicenter of socialism. Well, I guess California and maybe San Francisco technically would be, but New York's way up there on the list as far as the socialism, meter goes.
Yeah, it's freaking nuts. But I got to tell you, I don't know. This may be the cockroach of the week. This
Really?
may be the cockroach of the week right here. So I put a link in the notes, to has anybody been following Japan?
I have not been following Japan, but we're swinging from Ireland to Japan. That's like one extreme to the other. We're going from leprechauns to ninjas.
But we're dealing with the same subject. Look, I got to tell you, I am big on the Japs right now. In fact, if I go on a vacation, no, I got to tell you though, I like skiing. You start letting the snow fall, I want to be there. But I have a great desire to go to Japan now, even
Really?
more so. I kind of always wanted to go there and experience their culture, see what it was about, and because I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the Japanese just elected a new prime minister.
Really?
And you're not going to believe what she's badass. Her first order of business is.
Well, I have no idea, but, they're pretty anti-gun culture over there. I guess they all carry samurai and ninja swords, but,
Look.
what was their first order of business?
Well, play it.
Okay. All right. Let me hit the button over here and hopefully this will work. Let's do screen share. Yes, there we go. And let me turn some volume up so we can hear it. Let's go.
私は外国人との穏やかな、お互いに思いやりを持って生きられる付き合い方はどうすればできるんか。一遍ゼロベースで考えるつもりです。毎年毎年。
That's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Did you not know that they didn't interpret that?
Okay. Let me tell y'all what she said. She said, I've had enough of these damn migrants, and the first thing we're doing, we're sending them all home. Get out of here. That's what she said.
Well, interesting.
That's what she said, and that's what she did. Y'all go look it up. I'm not lying. If you want to look it up in Japanese, you can listen to it in Japanese, or you can get the.
All right. I plan to think about it from zero again because year after year, the culture and everything else is so very different, yet people are being brought. Hold on. To keep bringing them in this policy, we must pause and reconsider it. Y'all bet you didn't know I knew Japanese.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
But
I
I
didn't either.
bet you like closed captioning too.
Yes, I do. It is a wonderful thing. Technology can be aggravating, but oh, it can be very good too.
I mean, look, and upon her getting in there, the whole cabinet resigned, and
Oh,
she immediately had a whole nother cabinet ready to go. Bam, they're appointed, and they're moving full steam ahead. Their country's not. I mean, hat tip to the Japanese. They are protecting their country, their heritage, and they're doing what needs to be done to sustain. I mean, because look, I mean, let's just face it, we're not all the same. We're not.
right.
We have differences, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the way that it is, and you know, uh, take control of your country, protect your country, and look out after your people. I wish more of our politicians in the United States placed their people and the people that elected them as their priority rather than their self-interest and their freaking pocketbook.
So our good friend Barry Butler says Japan is about to declutter. Yeah, and I've said it over and over on the show, so I won't really beat uh, the dead horse too much. But I'm one of those who firmly believes that this country was built on immigrants and people who migrated here over the past centuries, and that we still have plenty of physical room for people here. And so I welcome people who want to migrate here legally. And, it's not the same as it was 200 years ago. And so we've had to put some limits in place and some controls in place, because obviously there's a danger element and all that sort of thing now with technology and the ability, to move around from place to place and planes and vehicles and blah, 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 and all that through the Industrial Revolution. So we've had some controls in place. Look, I welcome anybody that wants to come over here legally and do it the right way. Just don't try to skip to the front of the line or just skip the line altogether. That's my big problem.
Yeah, there's too many people that have came here for the handout to take advantage of our politeness, our wanting to take care of people, and it's time. It's way past due that we make a change, and I'm glad we got a government now that's moving in that direction to change it. But hey, let's move on. Are
Yeah.
we going to jump straight into Bossier City because there's a lot there?
Yeah, well, let me do just a couple of minutes on the town hall meeting last night. We'll get that out of the way, and
Oh
then we'll jump right
yeah.
into the city council. So I didn't shoot any video or anything, but I did take a few notes, and I did record some of the audio. So I'm gonna eventually transcribe it, and I'll post some, a summary of what happened completely at the meeting. But there were several things that were talked about. So first of all, got to give a big thanks to Miss Deborah Ross. She's the District 2 councilman or council lady. And as most of you know, she defeated Mr. Darby and pried him up out of the seat of the city council. And she had the meeting at Hooter Park at the, what is it, the rec center or whatever they call it down there. Anyway, it went
Yep.
real well. Amanda Nottingham was there. Chris Smith was there. Creighton Cochran was there. Cliff Smith was also there, although he wasn't up at the podium. He was just there observing. Lewis Johnson was there. Stephen Jackson, the state rep from over around the Shreveport area, who is, well, let's just say
Oh.
controversial and interesting. Anyway, he even showed up and gave some interesting information about adjudicated properties and a Supreme Court ruling. I've got to do a little digging into that. But it was a great meeting. I didn't count everybody or hadn't yet. I shot a little clip of video of it, but there were probably 25 or 30 people, a lot of questions. They did a Q&A session for about an hour. They had people submit the questions on index cards, which I thought was very smart. Had a lady reading those questions off and then let the appropriate council members or Amanda or whoever answer it. They also did, let's see, what else? They talked about the Crime Stoppers program as well. So anyway, it was just real good. They talked about curb heights. And I actually learned something after the meeting from a retired DOTD engineer about curb heights. They talked about Amtrak service, limb pickup. They talked about speed bumps. They talked about empty lots and adjudicated properties, and maybe they need an ordinance for trees. And the city has an ordinance for grass height, but how does that work in cutting grass on some of these abandoned properties? Again, Stephen Jackson gave the ruling, or gave some information on a SCOTUS ruling or an upcoming SCOTUS ruling. What else? Oh, and then they discussed the process of Crime Stoppers and how you stay anonymous even through the payment process of Crime Stoppers, which was very interesting and educational. So, all in all, kudos to Miss Deborah Ross for putting that town hall on. I thought it was very successful, especially for her first one, and I hope she does this, every now and then.
That is an amazing thing. We're talking about council people having town halls within their districts, and people showing up, and the public showing up, and talking about issues, asking questions, and government giving them direct answers, and that's what it's all about. Bravo.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, great meeting. Our friend Joe Gregorio was there. The Colonel Crockett was there, and like I said, great group of people. Good meeting. I think Cliff Smith had one earlier, about a month ago, and so I hope they continue on this trend. It's great community outreach. All right. So anyway, that's Miss Deborah's town hall at Hooter Park. Shall we dive in to the city council meeting?
Yeah, so going into this city council meeting, I think we expected what was going to be the primary issue was going to be the budget. I mean, this group of council, again, we still don't know kind of who it was that came up with the idea, but started looking at ways to try to touch on some of the budget problems, because the mayor put forward a budget wanting to talk about trying to roll some taxes forward, and acknowledging that there was a problem or there was a shortfall in money, and so we had to figure something out, right? And or else it was, we're going to have to increase taxes. We got to do something. But the mayor's office's idea was just let's tax the people more, right? Well,
yeah, they were looking at rolling forward the millage or whatever, which was summarily shot down by the city council.
Yeah, so I would say something to everybody watching, and to the folks in the city. You had the old council, what do you think would have happened? I suspect that the mayor's plan to just roll taxes forward, or in that case, increase taxes, that would have just been rubber stamped by the old council. But fortunately for y'all, you recognized that there needed to be a change in Bossier. You made a change. You got a new council, and as a result, you had a council that I would say kind of went to work and figured out a way to not have to raise those taxes. And so that was what everybody was thinking that was going to be the big deal. I think this would have been the second reading on the budget thing, and but there wasn't even anybody commented. Nobody even spoke a word. Even Creighton Cochran talked about it. He's like,
yeah, he made the comment about how many people were paying attention to, I forget what it was, versus the budget. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I have it marked. So let's see. Let me get that up here.
Okay.
You got live review going too?
I'm gonna hit it right now. So just a second. All right. So yeah, either one of us should be able to have control. And I see in the comments here, I didn't know, but my neighbor, Cody McKellar, came back and talked about Red Rover. I didn't even know he was going to the meeting.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be one of the most boring city council meetings that I have watched in a while. And I got to tell you, by the time I was through, well, wait a minute, let me stop. By the time the stream was cut off, we don't know by who, how, or why, but it was going so good. I was sitting here watching it and I was laughing like a kid. It was so good, and y'all are going to enjoy the hell out of this.
Yeah. Now, in the city of Bossier's defense, of course, I made a joke about it. I think before the break or whatever, that Richard Ray probably ran up there and yanked a Ethernet cord out of the streaming server because they were literally talking about his salary. But apparently, well, we'll let Jacobs talk about all that. But apparently, Richard Ray wasn't there, so Phyllis did mention later in the meeting that they had recorded the whole meeting locally. They always do that, and that they would upload the full meeting later on. As of the show right before that, I hadn't seen it posted yet. So we have up until the point that they cut off, and then we've got about another 8 or 10 minutes after that. So y'all just bear with us, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, really good. But hey, Cody McKellar comes walking up for public comment, and he just goes to dropping bombs right out of the gate. And I got to tell you, I loved it. Let's listen to Cody right out of the gate. Oh, well, wait a minute. I guess we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit. I mean, there may possibly be people who don't know who Cody McKellar is.
Well, okay. So first of all, he happens to live just 100, 200 yards from me, but he is, I guess the appropriate deal would be co-owner or whatever. I think he's got a partner with the Red Rover dog kennel, and I think they do grooming and that sort of thing over there. And the city has harassed him incessantly in conjunction with, what's that moron's name that lives back behind him, Steve?
Oh, I don't know. You ain't cool if your chrome don't shine.
We talked about him incessantly. But anyway, to the point of they sent the cops out there, and we've talked about this and, you know, posted the video and all that. But the cops are literally sitting there on the body cam, like having to get approval from the city attorney's office because they're like, we don't have anything here to write him a ticket or, you know, in theory, arrest him on. And oh no, you're supposed to do it anyway. So it's been this crazy Steve Pinnell. Thank you, Ryan Haygood. Couldn't remember his last name. So the city has been harassing him to no end. Apparently, it's not apparently, it's not even allegedly. I hate to even say that because literally you got the police officers on their body cam talking about the coordination with the city attorney's office. And so Cody's, you know, there's a big lawsuit going on, and we've talked about and shared some of the documents, you know, and of course they haven't settled yet or hadn't adjudicated the case yet, however that's going to end up. But yeah, that kind of tees up where he walks up to the mic again.
So yeah, so hit play and let's hear what Cody had to say today.
All right, here we go.
Cody McKellar, 2217 Hickory Ridge Drive. I'm here today just to speak about the budget. We at Red Rover are a law-abiding business, and yet here we are again in the same position as before, simply trying to find a resolution to a dispute where we've been caught in the crosshairs of Bossier City's illegal conduct. We have placed a fair offer on the table. Unfortunately, the city attorneys refuse to have a serious discussion about settling this issue. In fact, we were told that there weren't enough members of the council to vote to settle this litigation. We don't believe that this is true. We don't know if the city attorney speaks for you, but we hope not. To be clear, we would like to engage in serious settlement negotiations. We believe that this is in the best interest of all parties. I have 8 copies of our last settlement offer if each of you would like to see it. I also have one for you, Mr. Mayor. I implore you to study our offer. When we first filed our lawsuit, we were told from the beginning by the city attorneys that they would litigate to punish us. They said specifically, we want to settle, but the city has $60 million they inherited for things like this, and they don't want to make the fraternity mad, so we can just fight it out in court. Ooh. This litigation strategy will cause the city to rack up attorney's fees to be paid for with taxpayer dollars. For what purpose? To punish me? I hope not. I'm fully prepared to fight this case if necessary. Does this litigation strategy actually facilitate the best interest of the citizens of Bossier City? I think not. I think if you studied our settlement offer, you would agree with me that meaningful settlement discussions would be beneficial. We're committed to litigation if necessary, but shouldn't we be given the minimum respect of engaging in meaningful settlement discussions? I'm a Bossier City native and have lived here 38 years of my life. This hasn't been easy for us. For goodness sakes, the wife of someone named in my suit cut my hair for many years and still cuts my dad's hair to this day. Red Rover can service up to 5,000 customers in a month. We built a stellar reputation despite the illegal conduct we've suffered. I personally have a ticket that's being hung over my head that the city hopes one day they can prosecute so a permit could be pulled.
Okay, I got to stop it right there because he said something pretty important right there.
Yes, he did.
The city's got a ticket that they're hanging over my head so that they could potentially prosecute me to be able to pull my license. Now, we've been getting reports about shenanigans with tickets and things going through the city court in Bossier and some practices involving Richard Ray and the city judge in Bossier, Santi Parks, on, small things that turn out to be big things. In fact, like in the case of one individual where there was a fine or something of somebody's kid that smeared a piece of pizza on another kid's window, some kind of ticket was wrote, and ultimately it ends up the mother is in jail, may even still be in jail over the case. I don't know. I hadn't heard a report on that lately, but like some crazy stuff coming up. And you say, well, why is that important? Because why it was important, like in that case, for example, I understand that both Parks and Ray were lawyers in the divorce case with the woman whose kid smeared the pizza on, and now she's in jail as a result of some ticket that was wrote on this. And we're talking like over a few $100s, small change stuff, and people are getting put in jail. Allegedly, I hear a rumor that there was a local attorney in Bossier City that their daughter was put in jail and for some reason, for a ticket or something or another. The lawyer daddy goes to bail the daughter out of jail or something or another. Well, apparently he supposedly has some outstanding ticket, and Sonny Parks orders him arrested and puts him in jail. So
this is crazy.
What I'm telling y'all is what you're hearing from Cody McKellar here about just a simple speeding ticket or a violation or something in Bossier City resulting in some city government stuff using it or exploiting it to try to really put their thumb on you. He's not lying. There are other stories and there's other evidence of those practices or that thing happening in Bossier right now. I wish I could say that we could maybe reach out to the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, to investigate something in Bossier Parish, but Liz Murrill will not do anything in Bossier Parish. She is scared to death and she won't do anything. I'm just going to say point blank, my opinion is that she lied when she came to Bossier and said that she was going to do something and she would do something. She lied to all of us.
She lied on the show.
Yeah. So I thought I made a mistake on that one. I read it totally wrong. She's no different than a household politician. And if anybody in Bossier thinks that she's going to do anything other than enforce the law in Bossier, I mean, she's not going to enforce the law in Bossier. That's what I'm trying to say. You give it up. You got no place to go to with it unless you just take it through the court system all the way.
Yeah, I mean, this is getting
an embarrassment.
This is borderline extortion, blackmail, whatever you want to call it. Our friend Wes Marriott says Santee Parks is an embarrassment. The city attorney's office is an embarrassment. That's an understatement, Wes. And to remind everybody, we haven't mentioned her name in a while. Santee Parks is the husband of the famous Princess Juliana Parks, who is Duke's favorite police juror.
You know, I had high hopes for Juliana, considering knowing her background and history and where, you know, she was coming from. And I really hoped that she wasn't going to fall in, but, you know, I don't know. My opinion, she went the wrong direction. But we'll leave that there. This ain't about her.
Okay, so let's, shall we continue on with Cody's comments?
Yes, sir. He's knocking it out of the park. Roll on.
Yeah, he's not ready to drop the mic just yet. Here we go.
This conduct is not how the city of Bossier should operate. The city of Bossier is punishing and preventing a business from operating in the capacity they were intended. The same names keep coming up each and every time there's an issue. How much longer will they be allowed to run roughshod over Bossier City? I respectfully request you review our settlement offer and you engage in discussion, authorize, and compel Bossier City engage in these meaningful settlement discussions.
I mean, he's trying to save them money.
Sign in, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me also point this out too. Did anybody hear a point of order there? It's been such a long time since we've heard point of order. Did you hear Jacobs interrupt him at all?
No, there was no interruption. You know, and interestingly, look, I'm gonna send it to you. I sent you a link of an amazing link. I want to show you this. This was in another town somewhere, and they got the popo on this guy, and I want to show you this. And I haven't researched it or what have you, but you know, apparently you're right to speak at some of these meetings and what you say and the content of what you say. And again, I'm not trying to get in any legal discussion, and I'm sure somebody's going to jump up there and say, "Oh, Duke, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You can't do all this." Watch this video here.
All right, let's see.
Listen to this here. This caught my attention.
This man exposed the city council and they tried to arrest him just for telling the truth. But wait, what happens next?
Chief Blanchard, you piece of shit.
I'm not going to put up any defamation of character.
That's not defamation, that's a fact.
I don't care. You're either going to respect this place or you're going to be asked to walk out.
I'm going to be arrested. Fine.
Surprisingly, his lawyer was at the meeting and immediately took action. Little did the council know they were in big trouble.
I'm a civil rights attorney, and what I just witnessed was a violation of rights. Let me read something to you. Swear words do not provide probable cause for an arrest because the words, as a matter of law, are not fighting words. We are allowed to fucking talk about what we think about you. If I think the city manager is a piece of shit, I can say that.
You want to be escorted?
You escort me out, I'll sue you as well, Mr. Mayor.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, you're going to arrest me? Okay, so under the threat of arrest, you just filed.
The police chief disrespectfully told him to come back with a lawsuit. And a couple of weeks later, he surprised them with this.
Last time I was here, Chief Blanchard gave me some advice, and I'm finally going to obey. He said, stop talking and just sue me. Okay, Chief, here we go. These are your lawsuits.
This man exposed.
So
that's great.
I want to look that case up. I ain't had time. I just found that this afternoon, and I was thinking about, you know, the way the council was before. I mean, and you and I have talked about it on the show. Just let people get it off their chest. Just because you're the councilman doesn't mean you have to stop them. If somebody has something they want to say, just
best thing to do is sit there and take it.
Let it roll off like a duck. Don't even listen to it. I mean, if you don't want to hear it, you don't like it, that you can blot it out, but let them have their say.
Well, and look, you know, of course, we don't want to sound like we're completely carrying the water and just gushing over the new city council people and all that, because obviously Chris Smith and Brian Hammonds were reelected, so they're not brand new. But I gotta say, again, it's pretty refreshing to see how these city council meetings are run, and generally speaking, everybody gets to say what they come up there to say within reason, and that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and somebody messaged and said Santee Parks and Jim Whitman with the Marshal's Office are both up for reelection next year. So if there are any potential city judge candidates or city marshal candidates, y'all need to be thinking about that. I'm confident that there's probably a lot of people that are willing, eager, and ready to get on board with trying to help people run for those offices, because they're. I mean, look, this kind of stuff stinks.
Yes, it does.
There's a lot of questionable things out there, and transparency is the best disinfectant. And somebody new going in there, they'll be able to get it out there. Just like this council meeting, they funded the audit, or the auditors going backwards. Tommy promised that when he ran for mayor, and he's been resistant to it, and it hadn't happened. And this new council is forcing it. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I just noticed something. This is kind of a squirrel moment. We can see the comments from Twitter now. We've not been able to do that before because Twitter's API didn't allow you to see the comments. And looky there, your lovely bride just made a comment on Twitter, and we can see it.
Really, I can see the comment, but I can't see where it comes from which platform. I do know that there's been comments that I can't see from different platforms that you've popped up, and I'm like, where did that come from? I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, well, I get to see all the platforms at one time on mine. But anyway, so I just wanted to point that out. Glad to see that we got a comment from Twitter or X or whatever it is. Anyway, all right. But I digress. So where do we want to jump in the meeting?
So look, what should have been one of the big things that everybody was all up hot and bothered and talking about and asking questions and whatever was about the $13 million transfer, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think so. That's not chump change.
But I mean, y'all got to listen to this. Listen to how much dialogue there is about $13 million. You ready, Rex?
Adopted
Ready.
Ordinance authorizing the transfer of $13,362,739.69 from the 2018 LCDA bond fund to various capital funds, and the transfer of existing projects from the 2018 LCDA bond fund. Final reading.
So moved.
Second. Got a motion by Councilman Hammonds, a second by Councilman Cliff Smith. Is there any public comment? Any comment from the council? All right, council, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
Motion carries.
Well,
wait a minute. I had flashbacks of the previous council.
Yeah, they just did. Now, I guess in their defense, there was a little bit of dialogue. What was it, last meeting when they talked about it or whatever? So there was a little bit of dialogue then. Just, they were just going through the motions. But you're right. You could have nearly heard a pin drop till they all voted. All right.
Yeah, and Creighton says in a comment here a little later about he's had more questions. Granted, this ain't the budget, but he had more questions about chickens than he did about the budget, which says something. And he's right. And you know what I think it is? This is what I think it is, and this is what I like about this council. I mean, because if you watch this council, you can see. I think they're trying to find their way. They're trying to find who they can work with, who they can have alliances with, and they're at the same time they're sensitive about they're highly sensitive about pissing people off, their constituents. They really care about what their constituents thoughts are, and they also don't want to offend the other councilman. And it's patently obvious. And
hey,
so
I don't mean to interrupt you, but Jeff Sadow just put a pretty good comment up. So hold your thought for a second, and that kind of spurred something in my head. So Sadow says, too many elected officials have or develop egos, mistaking winning elections with omnipotence and omniscience when it comes to dealing with the public. Another thing that triggered in my mind was remember the folks that, and you know exactly who I'm talking about because I know you watch this show because you text me quite frequently and we have these long phone calls. Remember these folks that told us, oh, but you lose all that institutional knowledge. And when you have all these new people on the council or new people in whatever government entity, that they have to learn their way and that it's just going to be complete chaos. Well, guess what? It's not. It's the only chaos is cleaning up the mess from the last morons that were in there.
Yeah, that's right. And even though these folks, even in this meeting, there were a couple of mistakes that these councilmen made. But you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It is absolutely okay. And there's nothing to be ashamed of that, you may have been wrong on something. What's the harm in that? There's
Right.
no freaking harm in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the public appreciates the fact that they can see that you're human, that, that there's not an expectation that you are not a flawed person. I mean,
Right.
so you should wear that with a badge of honor, not be worried about whether you're going to make a mistake or not. I mean, because you're going to do that. Everybody does. And if you try to say you're not going to make a mistake,
that's when you're going to make a mistake.
Yep, guaranteed.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, hey, Good's comment about term limits. I agree, of course, 1,000%, as I'm sure Mr. Lowrie agrees 10,000%. But I would also like to say that a mutual friend of ours, I've had several discussions with our mutual friend and his opposition to term limits. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, but I digress. All right, let's back to the city council. So, shall we go to Pompous Drive and the stop sign?
Somebody drove up there and they was being a little pompous.
I guess so. I used to have a customer that lived on Pompous Lane. I know right where that is. Maybe that a peacock out there being pompous.
That's one of them haunts in Salbo that are in Sobo. So yeah, apparently they want a stop sign out there. I wonder what that's about. Let's hear it.
Let's see.
New business. Introduce an ordinance to authorize the installation of all-way stop control at the intersections of Barberry Lane and Pampas Drive and at Anita Street and Impala Drive in the city of Bossier City. First reading.
So move.
Always stop. Is that like a four-way stop or one of those stop signs with the LEDs?
All the way stop, full stop. I'm assuming it's a four-way. Said all way.
All right, here we go.
Motion by Councilman Hammonds, a second by Councilwoman Ross. Is there any public comment? Mr. Andy, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Good afternoon, Council. Mayor. I'd like to request that we hold off on this ordinance until engineering can finish their intersection study. And we're about 2 weeks out from there, so hoping to have it done by the next meeting.
Okay. Councilman Hammonds, Councilwoman Ross, y'all sponsored this and made the motion in second. Do y'all?
Well, I guess, what kind of study is the engineering department doing?
Oh, in order to put up new stop signs, things like the amount of vehicles going through that intersection, sight distances, crash data, all that has to be looked at.
Well, the problem I have with that, I understand that y'all have to do all of that, but you're going to come back with a study and tell me that 1,000 cars an hour did not come through an intersection. There are 1,000 cars an hour not going to come through that intersection. It's a subdivision. People leave and go to work.
Not all that criteria has to be met.
Well, I'm just speaking from, I've been through this song and dance for 4 years on stop signs. You know, the only reason that we bring stop signs up is because they are requested by the citizens that elect us that live in these subdivisions.
Yes, sir.
And that is the whole reason that we do that. While I respect y'all's opinion, but I don't think that all the studies and everything like that need to go into putting a simple stop sign up in a subdivision.
Okay.
Here we go.
The FHA disagrees with that.
What's that?
Federal Highway Administration, they disagree with that.
In a subdivision?
Okay,
All right, I
you
gotta
gotta
stop
stop.
that.
You gotta stop. I mean, this cat, I don't know who he is, but I mean, I think he did that. He just dropped the boom on Hambone in the
Yeah,
most subtle, nicest way he could possibly do it. Well, Federal Highway Administration would disagree with that.
yeah, and it gets even better with Hammonds's comments here in a second.
Have we had to do these studies in the past?
Yeah, I mean,
We just voted.
we just
on some-
voted to put stop signs up the other day. All this wasn't, I know where this is all coming from, but I'm not gonna get into that, but I can if y'all want me to.
Oh, please tell us, Brian. Please tell us. Why didn't you drop that mic?
Well, Brian's not going to tell us, but you know what?
Oh, no. I must remind you, the most popular video we have ever published is the 90-second clip of Richard Ray admitting that he deletes emails or doesn't keep them on the server because Richard Ray dropped the bombs right then.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll just say this. I think the mayor may or may not have had a hand, and the city attorneys may or may not have had a hand in this deal here. I just jumping
I
out there
agree.
saying.
All right, so
But look, this whole thing brings up an interesting point. How many stop signs are up in Bossier that haven't had a traffic study
well,
that may be illegal?
I mean, there's a lot of stop signs in Bossier City. As a matter of fact, the one up the road from me on Hickory Ridge and Bedford Place, somebody knocked it down the other day, and the city was right out there prompt, standing it back up and burying the pole. But I mean, I guess they had already studied that one.
Well, when this happened, I had to check that because I did not know. Um, I had no idea about the stop sign thing, and I had to check it out. Man, does the Federal Highway Administration actually require an engineering study or what have you? And as it would turn out, I mean, I groped it, and it said, yeah, they actually do require it. But interestingly, remember back, and I think this is the stop sign that they're talking about, but remember back the stop sign on Green Acres Boulevard?
Yes.
In Maggio's district, and it was right at the election, and Maggio was heralding, yeah, let's get this stop sign up, and it was primarily because of all of the people speeding up and down Green,
right.
and I get that or whatever. So when I was reading this thing about the Federal Highway Administration, they said that yeah, but here's their quote. However, the MUTCD, whatever that is, discourages using stop signs solely for speed control.
Yeah, I think because they think or they say that people blow through the stop signs, and so it doesn't do speed control.
Well, they say that they lead to non-compliance,
Right.
so therefore you shouldn't use it for that purpose. But that's what we did in Bossier before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for those of us that actually, stop at stop signs and that sort of thing, it does serve as a speed deterrent, but I guess some people don't. All right, so let's continue on.
Yep.
All because we went over somebody's head. Now all of a sudden that all of these studies and everything like that. So I'm going to vote. I am not going to delay this for 2 weeks. It's going to move forward today.
From the engineering standpoint, I'm trying to do the best I can to help out the city and make sure we do things correctly. Just want that to be voiced.
I don't know where the Federal Highway Authority comes into it in a subdivision that is one not on a state road or a federal road. All the subdivisions that I've developed over the past 22 years, this is the first I've ever heard of this, of the FHA coming involved in this.
I can forward you some documentation if you'd like.
I'll bring you the receipts.
They can fine us, I guess, if they want to.
Did you just hear that?
I did, and I love it. He's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Just find me. That's fine.
That's awesome.
It is.
I mean, I gotta say, yeah, they probably should do the traffic study, but then the other side is, yeah, how many of them have they done in the past? And I agree with Kara commented again from X. She said, my thought was, what does the Federal Housing Administration have to do with this? Oddly, that's what I thought. I was FHA. Are we doing home loans or what?
Well, when I heard it first, that's what I thought as well too. And but anyway, he clarified. But anyway,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. I don't think
but
there was any more commentary really on that.
no, there's not. But I got to tell you, this next part is the best. It's one of the best. There's still more. I mean, if y'all are going to dig this even more.
Yeah,
But
and so we would encourage everybody to go watch the full meeting once they get it posted, so you can get the full context of everything.
but hey, you know what? Here they come to kill the rooster.
All right, here we go. This is going to be where the fun starts. Put your seatbelt on, Mr. Lowrie. Here we go.
Wait. You got to do this. We got to set the stage.
Okay.
We got to.
Yeah, we do. And I forgot. I was going to look up, but I didn't have time. We've talked about chickens on this show before.
We have. We went through this. I think it was 2022.
Yeah,
we even interviewed the they're going to talk about this case right now. We interviewed the lady.
Yeah, because they don't live too far from me.
Yeah, somebody in Bossier City raided their house for their chickens with guns drawn. Like, I guess they were worried the roosters were going to attack them or something. I mean, so look, you got to do this. You got to do this. I resent you the link again. You got to play this real quick.
Okay, let me hold on. Let me pull it up. Oh yeah, I've got that in the show file. So hold on just a second. We can absolutely do this.
We got to memorialize the moment here because this is historic, guys.
Yeah, give me just a second. I got to make a couple of clicks here, but I will absolutely get this in here. Hold on. All right, let's see. Let me click and drag that and click and drag that. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's hear it one more time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, back to reality. We had our fun.
Okay, so here we go.
Miscellaneous furniture. Oh, we just did that. Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Introduce an ordinance to amend section 14-33 of the Bossier City Code of Ordinances relative to raising of poultry. First reading.
Raising of poultry.
Got a motion by Councilman Hammonds, a second by Councilman Cliff Smith. Is there any public comment?
And I ask that anybody that comes up to comment, please print your name and address as well as state it.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm, am I too loud?
No, you're fine.
I'm Brenda Davis. I've spoke to many of you on the city council about this. I had chickens in my back.
Can you, we need your full name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brenda Davis, 1223 Evangeline Circle. I had chickens and then someone reported me, so I had to get rid of all of them. And that's fine, but I just feel like we should revisit this. I mean, there's a lot of health benefits to having chickens. And after COVID, we saw how many people need to be a little bit more self-reliant with themselves and providing themselves eggs and vegetables and everything else in their backyards. So I think it's just real important that we try to encourage that in the city for people to be more self-sufficient. And I know that what we've proposed is that they have to be contained in a coop. You can only have so many of them. They're not allowed to be running free. And I've got a list that I can pass out to all of you of all the cities in the state of Louisiana that allow backyard chickens. Baton Rouge, Houma, Kenner, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Metairie, New Orleans, Prairieville, Shreveport, West Monroe. All these major cities allow backyard chickens. So I'm just curious, what do they know that we don't? Or what do you know that they don't? You know, and So I'd just like to propose that you at least give us the opportunity, I know this is the first vote, to at least give us 2 weeks to get more information and for y'all to acquire your information and come back in 2 weeks and give us a chance to have a vote on this.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. I did this ordinance to repeal the ban on chickens.
Okay.
This is allowing you to have chickens.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. And I think I was the first one that spoke to you.
Right.
On the phone the other day. And, I drove by your residence and looked and everything, and I mean, it's perfectly fine. All of us would be kidding ourselves if we said there's not already chickens there in the city, because they are. And I think
right.
that's one of the reasons that, I just felt best that we go ahead and repeal that ordinance that went into place and let people have them with certain guidelines.
Right.
I agree
And I just think that
100%.
people should also realize that a lot of these studies that have been done on this, when you vote against them, it's really against the people of middle and lower income. This is some people are saying this is a classist issue, that you're doing this against people that are middle to lower income. So I think that's something to consider for people within the city also. But I'd like to hand you all this. So you have your,
If you'll hand it to them.
there's a chickenlaws.com.
You want me to pause it?
You
Hold
can
on.
go
Chicken
there.
Who knew? I didn't know there was chickenlaws.com.
I had no idea either or whatever. But I mean, look, I would be remiss if I didn't say, I see both sides of it. I think that people should have the right to be able to have chickens. And if they choose to live within, it's just like if you live in a subdivision, with all their covenants and stuff or whatever, when you move there and you move in there, they got those rules, right? Same goes for Bossier City. I mean, if they say you can have 6 chickens, great, and you got to keep them in a pen, great. But if they say you got to have 6 chickens in a pen, you don't let them out of the pen to go across the neighbors. And here's what I was going to say, and I'll stop real quick. I know for a fact that here recently, there's somebody in Bossier City that's had a rooster in their yard. They already had chickens in violation of the current city ordinance. They still have. I know several people that have had chickens and still have for the past 20 or 30 years in the city limits of Bossier. But here recently, I'd gotten some calls and some reports about a residence that had literally a rooster that was crossing out of their yard across a wood picket fence into the backyard of another neighbor's house, and that rooster was attacking their dog. Literally, I guess it was a fighting rooster attacking their dog. And allegedly, they were calling City Hall to try to get help and didn't get any help.
Well,
I mean, I didn't get into it because they asked me not to weigh into it, because I told them, I said, look, I think I can get somebody to address your problem, but they said no, don't. But they said, I just wanted to tell you this was happening.
But wait a minute. And we allow boa constrictors. We allow, just an absurd number of pets, including, look, how many cats do you know that stay in somebody's yard? Virtually none. And cats kill an inordinate amount of songbirds and everything else. Not that I care that much about the Tweety birds. I'm just saying the point is we allow cats and dogs. And look, I love dogs. Full disclosure, I am not a cat person whatsoever. But people let their cats roam all over the place. What's up with chickens?
Literally, as we're watching the show here and talking about this right now, I just sent you a picture, an image. We may not need to show that. I don't know. I can't see it good enough. Yeah, we probably don't need to show that because there's some pictures in the bottom of the screenshot. But
well, I can take care of that.
Somebody's chickens in Bossier City got over into this person's yard, and well, their dog got the better end of it. I guess it wasn't a rooster because it had chicken for dinner.
See, now you've got me interested here. Just a second. Hold on. I can take care of this.
Well, wait a minute. And what they sent to me, they said their dog loved the chicken, but they did save the chicken though.
Oh, they did save the chicken. All right, hold on. Give me about maybe 10 seconds and I'll have this sucker in here. Let's see. Let's switch screen. Let's get rid of that. And let's pull this in. There we go. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happens.
I mean, but I think in our previous show when we covered this subject, again, I think it was in 2022 when they were revisiting this on the council. During World War II, I mean, it was they put out promotional things saying that it was your civic duty as an American to keep a pen of chickens.
It's not World War II now. We have grocery stores everywhere, Dollar Generals everywhere. I mean, there's a Dollar General popping up on every block. So why do we need chickens? You can go buy eggs. But who remembers how expensive the eggs were not too long ago?
Yes, but wait a minute. As soon as Trump came in, wasn't all the Democrats saying that the price of eggs was going through the roof, and now we've got avian influenza spreading across the land due to climate change, and I mean, good grief.
Hey, is there
a
ban on potbelly pigs? Not to interrupt you.
Well, what about pot-bellied cats and pot-bellied dogs and
those hairless cats?
And the ferrets. I mean, people in Bossier
ferrets stink.
Ferrets.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, enough about that. Look, and full disclosure, I love eating chicken. I love eating some fried eggs. You couldn't pay me enough to raise chickens, and it stems from my teenage years, and it's a long, drawn-out story that I won't go into. But I ain't never raising chickens. But I don't have a problem with my neighbors raising chickens if they want to. If their rooster gets too loud, he just might go silent one day.
You want to know what's crazy about this? I mean, look, there's 100 of y'all watching this. You know what as I appreciate the current ordinance, it says it's illegal to transport chickens or to have anything pertaining to chickens commercially in Bossier. Well, isn't Tractor Supply in Bossier City?
Do they have chickens? Do they have an
They're
exemption?
They sell
they're
chicks. Selling them. They're selling chickens. Somebody had to bring the damn chickens there. So they're being transported. So they're breaking the law.
My wife doesn't comment often, but she just said, "Oh, but we are." Great. If they pass this chicken ordinance, I guess I'm going to be in the chicken business. Oh, wait, I can't be in the chicken business. I'll have them for home consumption. We're eating the chickens if we get chickens.
Miss Moncrief, I have chickens for you. All you have to do is construct your pen and I will bring them to you. No, I will have them delivered to you because that would be illegal for me to transport them in the boat. I will get you chickens, Miss Moncrief. And I promise you one of them is going to be a rooster. Guaranteed.
That is a good question. Not to interrupt you, but that is a good question about Tractor Supply. That never occurred to me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look,
right.
let's get. We've gotten off.
Yeah, we're having way off on a tangent. Here we go. Because there's more to this.
Page I've got for you, and it tells you every city in Louisiana what their laws are and the requirements for it. So it'll give you a little bit more information.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment on chickens? Any comment from the council?
Chris is like, please, nobody, please.
We did this about 3 years ago, and I went to sites. There's some in Green Acres.
Wait, is that Vince talking?
Like things saying they won't keep it clean.
He is.
But some people don't keep it clean. Exactly. And it was really a mess. The yard smell. I mean, no grass in the backyard. It was really bad.
Wait a minute. I would be remiss if I didn't point out, because I know there are a ton of Vince Maggio supporters that watch our show. I would be remiss if I didn't point out one of the few times that Vince Maggio comments on anything is chicken shit. Think about that for a second. Just saying. Draw your own conclusions. Here we go.
You figure 2 people or 3 might keep it excellent. The other ones ain't gonna keep it clean, you know, where we go from there, it's in a neighborhood. If you're outside the city, it'd be different, but inside a neighborhood, you know, your yard's 200 by 100, 150 foot deep, and that smell there, you know? And that's why I couldn't vote for it.
There are so many comments I want to make about Maggio's comment right there.
I'm not going to touch that one. I'm not, but I have a high degree of confidence that somebody else is.
All right, here we go.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Maggio. Is there any other comment? Mr. Smith?
Today.
Okay. Jump to the 31-14 mark.
Sit down for a second.
Let him come on.
Okay.
And then
all right, 31. All right, here we go.
Wait a minute, stop it for a second.
Main Drive, Bossier City, I'm already on here.
Did he look like he was smiling? Replay that little part. Jump back and play that again. Y'all look at Colonel Crockett's face as he's walking up there.
Let's see. Let's play it in slow motion.
And look at his face.
He is smiling ear to ear.
Look at that, like a mule eating briars.
Wow.
Read the ordinance. It says in there, if the smell gets out of control, you got to keep it within there. So I hope you read it. If you read what it says, the gentleman's right. This is for the people. I think, you know, you can't keep fighting the people. It doesn't sound like what you just said, that you read what it says in there, because you can call the city and have them respond to it. I really support what these guys are doing. Don't fight the people. Quit doing that. I think there are a couple of examples of that.
Vince knows what chicken shit smells like, but by God, he can't read an ordinance. That's just good job,
I think
Colonel.
that's why Colonel was smiling so much because he'd recognized he ain't read the ordinance. Because if he'd read the ordinance, he'd known if it smells, all you got to do is call the city.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask, and look, maybe some of y'all know out there. So, if it's a smell situation with chickens or whatever it may be, does the city come out there with what do they have, like a sniff detector? Is it like a fart detector, or is it like a freon detector for AC or natural gas? I mean, how do they detect if a smell is too much?
No, I think they call in the marshal's office, and they're going to load up in the damn Humvee and roll out there with guns drawn.
They'll drive by Cody's place first, by Red Rover.
Well, yeah.
By way of Red Rover, they'll get to the, okay. All right. Just want to make sure I have that right.
Hey, Pinnell, you need to make a complaint on the smell. That was the problem. You were going on noise, and you need to go on smell. Dadgummit.
Wait, I think I see somebody coming down my driveway to bang on the door. That might be Cody now that you said that. Thanks, Mr. Lowrie.
Hey, well, he can join in the show and just climb in the seat next to you and say, what the hell's that smell around here?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so where do they end up on the smell deal? Let me hit play. You ready? Or you got more comment?
No, well, I was going to say 3306 Cochran.
Okay, let's go. Let's jump up there.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any other comment from the council?
Cassie had a good one.
Mr. Cochran.
Thank you.
All they got to call is Duke Busters. Look, I hear Bossier City Police is forming a chicken division now as we speak.
The breaking vote.
And I want to point out that Cody is watching the show, and he said, that's not Red Rover, that's the poop plant. You know, the city marshal sending the cops, they got to go by your place first. Come on, Cody.
Oh, that's pretty smart, Cody. That I give you that one. Hat tip on that one.
All right, here we go.
Vote for this not to be heard by other citizens. I also told you that I've only heard from 4 or 5 people as of today about the chickens, is the conversation you and I had, which unfortunately is about 4 or 5 more phone calls than I received about the budget that we're about to do today. So if that tells you anything, Bossier City, tell
We're more more concerned about chickens than we are millions and millions of dollars.
Transfer 13 million. Who cares? By God, chickens. Oh, that's it. We're all in an uproar.
Oh yeah, dadgummit. We draw the line at chickens. Waste $1 million, give away free parking lots, but by God, I don't want a chicken in my neighbor's yard.
Wow. Hey, it looks like Miss Deborah had a pretty interesting comment. Let's hear what she had to say.
I would like to say something,
Yes, Ms. Ross.
President Chris. I really wouldn't have a problem with the citizens having their chickens in their backyard, but you said that you can just call and have someone to come out and monitor your neighbor with the chicken. So you would be pulling property standards or either the police away from something that I think would be a little bit more important than monitoring homes with chickens in the backyard. My husband wants chickens so bad in the backyard, but I know he ain't gonna do a good job of keeping them chickens.
Oh!
So I told him today, I was gonna vote no.
She's got to drag her husband into this.
What her husband won't take care of the chicken, so she told him she's gonna vote no. Because he won't take care of the chickens right.
That's awesome.
Because I know he's not gonna do a good job. You all might do an outstanding job of keeping your area clean where your chicken's at. But that doesn't mean everybody that say, hey, I'm gonna get me 4 chicken, put them in a coop, and take care of the coop. And how do we know that you're not gonna raise chickens and try to make a profit off of them? Or your chicken lay eggs and make a profit off of it? I'm just saying, people do all type of things, Mr. Carter.
Oh, wait a minute.
To make
Wait a minute.
money off of it.
She may have a point here. What if somebody got 6 chickens in the middle of Old Green Acres place and then wanted to sell the eggs? That'd be a commercial operation.
Well, the city, hey, it could be tax revenue. What's the city worried about?
Well, they'd have to have a traffic study.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because the chiropractor's office on Benton Road there, I mean, dadgum, we got safety issue and...
Well, yeah, God forbid somebody not even 100 feet away pulls out of one of those existing commercial buildings on the Benton Road, which would be the same safety factor that our city council people mentioned. But, I digress.
Anyway, keep going, because this ain't in. The chickens are not giving in yet.
The chickens have not come home to roost just yet.
So that's my spiel on that. That we will be pulling, I think, our property standards and our police officers to check on chicken or get phone calls. The chicken making up too much noise, or chicken done got loose and running around.
I got to point out, though, Miss Deborah, we literally had the lady on the show. The cops were there, guns drawn to get the chickens out of the yard, and the ordinance already existed. So I'm just saying.
That's my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. All right.
I do need to speak now, Mr.
Uh-oh,
President.
here we
Yes,
go.
sir.
So.
Voted a second ago.
Do what?
Do
what?
I said we should have voted
Should
a second
have.
ago.
Should have been quicker on your feet.
Cut off comment.
First of all, just a couple of statements that have been made. The employees that work for the city of Bossier, it's their job to serve all citizens no matter what. Whether it's coming out for a chicken complaint, if it's coming out for a cat, a dog, police department, animal control, and property standards, they answer those calls all day long, all hours of the night. So that should not come into play. That is what they are paid to do, is to serve the citizens of Bossier City. Whether or not they make a profit off of it, if they want to start a small business selling fresh eggs at a market or whatever, that is their right to do that, if they want to make money off of their chickens. So, the reason this whole ordinance came to play 3 years ago is off of one address in North Bossier that they had 20 to 30 chickens in the backyard and inside the house. That is where this came to play. Other people.
I just want to point out to my lovely wife, I'm drawing the line at chickens in the house. They ain't coming in the house.
Look, Jania, this rooster, I mean, I'm telling you, it could sleep right next to your pillow, right there with you and Rex.
If that rooster comes in the house, he's going right in the frying pan. I'm just saying.
He'll be right at home, and you don't even have to worry about setting an alarm clock ever again.
Right.
Ever. You won't have
Yeah.
that burden, I promise.
Well, just when she goes up there to pick up that rooster, we may as well schedule the chicken
Oh,
fry.
wait a minute. We got pushback. Y'all are getting on the same page. No.
Here we go.
Have them. I've seen them firsthand. The backyards are completely clean. The coops are clean, everything like that. It wasn't too long ago that most of us here, we could not go to the grocery store and afford a dozen eggs along with everything else. So with somebody wanting to have chickens or plant a garden or something like that, and I have to agree with him.
I like how
somebody
he
that
ends
has
here.
a house full of cats or dogs that they do not keep up smells a whole lot worse than chickens do. So we need to look at this guy. I mean, you have to look at this in a sense that you're telling people free in the United States of America that they cannot have fresh eggs. I mean, that's what this all boils down to. I mean, there's so much more stuff that we could sit up here and go back and forth over, but it is chickens and eggs. That's it.
Look,
I gotta agree with him.
That closing was epic. I mean, this is a simple thing. We got so many other big things to worry about that we're worried about policing where the people have chickens. And I get it that people, you know, they don't want somebody having a bunch of damn chickens next to their house, and it makes their property value go down or whatever. But you know, I mean, this is a little bit of a give and take here. And if your neighbor ain't doing so good, you just talk to them about it. I mean, look, I got to admit, I am not the best neighbor to my neighbors. I
Hey,
totally admit it. And I'm
I got
trying to work on that. But my neighbors are understanding. We've talked and we've talked about it. You know what I'm saying?
please don't kill the rooster.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the one thing. My neighbors, I got chickens. They don't have chickens. But you know what? I give them eggs.
There you go. Hey, another thought just crossed my mind, and I have no idea. Is it illegal or against city ordinance to have horses in the city limits? Does anybody know the answer to that? I've never looked it up.
Well, you know, this is the amazing thing. It's interesting that you bring that up because the very next subject they're talking about is some company called Delta Airline Drive LLC, which ironically, I went to the Secretary of State's website and is not listed as a valid company in Louisiana, is trying to buy a piece of property from Bossier City.
Wait a minute. This company is not a valid company in the state of Louisiana? I mean, maybe some other state, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're a Delaware corporation or LLC.
I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But when I looked through the agenda, I saw, okay, there's this thing in here about selling a piece of property that Bossier City owns to a company called Delta Airline Drive LLC. And it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, well, that's odd. That's an odd name and that's an odd thing. So who is Delta Airline? So I immediately started trying to research who is, you know, and they don't exist. They weren't on the Secretary of State's website, and they're not legally registered there. They're not legally registered to conduct business, as I appreciate it.
But my point about horses was everybody's concerned about the smell of chicken shit, but I think that's horse shit. We're not worried about horses. I mean, what do horses weigh? 800,000 pounds.
But Rex, see, all of y'all, even y'all that are opposed to the chickens, y'all are ignoring your environmental responsibility to try to address climate change. Because I will have you know, I found a new research study that shows that part of our problem is, you know how they were talking about how cows farting and the methane was doing all this stuff, whatever. Well, as it would turn out, who knew that all that methane, when it like was expelled and starts rising up, allegedly it captures carbon and floats. And once it captures the carbon as it's rising up, floats back down to the ground and is absorbed back down into the ground.
Really?
So that stink that you're smelling is actually what's helping us to live.
Well, who knew that our ancestors they must have been, when they killed all those bison, and killed all the buffaloes, I guess they were just worried about the smell. I mean, everybody's seen the picture of the big mountain of buffalo and bison skulls and all that. I guess they were getting rid of the smell. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, that's why I bring it up, because this property that Delta Airline, it's discovered in this debate here that they're fixing to have, that property is zoned residential agriculture. So, right there off of Airline Drive, I mean,
they could have chickens, peacocks. They could have the whole gauntlet.
Put a fence up and put a bunch of dadgum cows or yaks or whatever they want. I mean, that
llamas.
Everybody
should have a llama.
Yeah, or some ostrich. That'd be cool. Have some big old ostrich right there on Airline Drive.
Well, let's listen to the debate about this.
Motion carries. Introduce an ordinance authorizing the sale of property identified as assessment number 148723 to Delta Airline Drive LLC for $295,000 pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 33:4712, first reading.
I'd like to make a motion that we continue this and remove the Delta Airline Drive and open this up for a public bid.
Now look, there is a lot of debate about this thing, and I think we can kind of go through some of this, and I can articulate it, and without having to listen to all of it. And it's good stuff. It really is. But we've been at it an hour and a half. I want to make sure we get to the sweet spot at the end. So what you have here is the city has this piece of property, and some company, the name listed is Delta Airline Drive LLC, approached the city about buying this piece of property. It's like a half acre or something of that nature. And, the city, the mayor's office, the city said, you know what? Hey, they legally can sell a piece of property if they own it and have clear title to it. They ordered an appraisal. They got an appraisal amount. They told the company what the appraisal amount was. The company agreed to it, and it was $200 and whatever $1,000. They said it was like a half an acre, which seems really high to me, or seems like a good price. And so they're marching forward about selling it. Well, on the surface, and for probably a lot of you, there's 100 of y'all watching, and on the surface, it seems like, what is this? Is this some more insider good old boy stuff? And Cliff Smith is making that point. He's suggesting, I don't know if the appearance of this is the right way to go, because it kind of gives the appearance that it's some kind of insider deal. I think we should delay this and change it and maybe put it out for a bid, and a discussion ensues about and Charles Jacobs gets in it, and Hammonds is in it, and they're talking about, well, the appraisal says this, and whether we can sell it for more than the appraisal amount or not. And if somebody is willing to pay more than the appraisal amount, can the city even accept that? And is there any limitations on the city as to whether they could accept more than what the appraisal amount is? So that's some of the dialogue that is. Well, so Cliff was just trying to say, hey, let's put the brakes on this and whatever. Well, Amanda ends up getting up there, and she ends up saying, look, even if you have this name on there, you can put this out here, and there's the way statutorily, as I appreciate it, that has to be advertised. There's such a period of time that if anybody else wants to make another offer on the property, they can, that exceeds the price. They can do that. And you can kind of get into this bidding type situation. So they end up it was a little confusing on the votes or what have you, but they ended up, putting this deal off. And so within the next few weeks, they'll do some kind of advertising in the paper that this property's there. Some discussion came on other city properties. And this also goes to the thing where you were at, Rex, where Stephen Jackson was there. And he raised a point because, some people may confuse adjudicated property with, this type property. And these aren't the same things. They're different things. But there's some stuff coming down the pipeline from the Supreme Court regarding adjudicated property that could be problematic for in a lot of ways. And Rex, you may not even realize this yet, but you've got some properties that are expropriated, eminent domain per se. But then think in the context of, let's say, the riverfront development property down there. Depending on how the Supreme Court rules, you could end up going back on something. So what if the city gets a piece of property through whatever way, then turns around and sells it, makes $100,000? The case that's supposedly before the Supreme Court, here's what the deal is. The person didn't pay their taxes. The governmental entity had seized the property or something of that nature, then put it up for a sale. Well, it went well beyond the appraisal price, but additionally paid all the back taxes and went well beyond. Well, the person that owned the property, that lost the property to the government, she filed a suit and wanted the difference in the back taxes and what the profit was. Well, if government can't be in the business of trying to make a profit, who's entitled to the difference? Is it her?
Very interesting question.
Is it the government? So fast forward, historically, when you've had government entities use expropriation and different, methods of getting properties for whatever reason or whatever, and then they turn around and sell those properties, if it both pays the debt and then has profit after, the whatever was owed on it, you would think that the original owner may have a right to some of that money. And I don't know. There's a lot of people that are shaking in their boots about this situation.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, when Jackson mentioned that at the town hall meeting, I was actually very interested in it, as were most of the people listening to him. So in spite of Mr. Stephen Jackson's misgivings, he did share some relevant information last night. All right, so are we gonna listen to any more of this with the Delta Airlines
No.
Drive LLC? All right, and I do want to point out, I put the comment up just a minute ago. Who was that? Joshua Lee put a comment, said the company filed with the state as of today.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, because when the agenda came out, I immediately looked it up, and they were not registered with the Secretary of State as of the release of the agenda.
Yeah. All right. So shall we jump ahead to the 122 mark? I'm just chomping at the bit to get to the mark. This is
there is one more. So, look, all of y'all watching, there's 100 of y'all watching the show right now, live viewers. Appreciate each and every one of you, and please comment. Let us know you're there. How many of y'all like your backflow preventer stuff?
Backflow preventer.
Don't you got, Rex, how many backflow preventer? You got your backflow preventer?
Nope.
You got that?
Nope.
What?
I'm on well water though.
Wait a minute, you admitting to violating the law and DEQ and all that? Is that what you're saying?
Do I have to, am I going to try to keep it from backflowing in my well?
No.
I'm on well water, not city water.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay, well, that explains a lot.
Yes. You thought you were going to get me violating an ordinance. Not so fast, Kemosabe.
I was trying. But this conversation, and we ain't got to go through it, but look, have any of y'all ever wondered, And this is what I wondered. So like when they were doing this Benton Road construction, and I had a good friend, he's in the comments. I'm not going to name who it is, but he said, all that construction on Benton Road in front of your office, when you see it, you're going to be pissed. In which, yeah, I'm pissed about it, and I understand what they did, but I noticed that there's a fire plug on the corner on Benton Road by my office across the street from Joe Gregorio's office. And Joe should be mad about it too. I don't know why Joe doesn't ever complain about anything. He just sits over there counting all of his money and just doesn't even say nothing about anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I wish I was some rich lawyer like Joe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that fire plug, so like when they were doing all that construction, there was it wasn't a fire hose, but it was a hose that they would just plug into the fire plug, and they would fill their water tank up as they needed water up and down doing the construction project. So all of y'all are required to have backflow preventers at your house so that the water doesn't contaminate the water system. Well, that water in that fire plug is the same water that's coming to your house.
Right.
But yet these guys are pulling up in these construction vehicles and filling up right there on the fire plug. And they were doing it back when I was on the fire department. But so I had to look it up. Well, apparently, and what they're talking about here is they are issuing, or they have issued, or these backflow preventers for construction companies and people that need to access the water lines to get water and stuff. And they, I don't know if call it a lease, but they lease this equipment to them. Well, the permit or lease per whatever an amount they have to pay, I think it reads or meters it so much. They were increasing the rate per 1,000 gallons or whatever. But not all construction companies, I think, use it, because the one that was doing that project on Benton Road, they accessed that fire plug and there was no backflow preventer on it. So
well, that's very interesting, and I don't know. Maybe they were responsible for the what was it? The brain-eating amoeba that what's her name, Brockovich, was all in a kerfuffle about here in Bossier not too many years ago.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been some cases of that, and yeah, definitely that was kind of part of what drove some of that stuff across the state, and rightfully so. I mean, we want to try to take care of everybody and everything.
Man, take care of the water supply. It's kind of important stuff.
Yeah, it is important stuff.
All right.
So Deborah Ross kicks off this thing again. Boy, she's just stirring things up. I got to tell you, who knew that Deborah Ross was going to be the ringleader of stirring everything up? But she did it, and not in a bad way. She's doing it in a good way, but she's wanting to address an issue. I'm assuming you're at the 122 mark.
Oh, yes, I am.
Waiting, and this is the good part, y'all.
I've got an itchy trigger finger, Mr. Lowrie. Here we go.
I know you do. And so this all gets kicked off and started with Deborah. It's important to her. I don't know the reason why, but it's important to her regarding the part-time employees. Now, Rex, you and I talked about that, like on the take-home vehicles, that some of the ideology of the past governance of Bossier is that, look, we can compensate people with a lower salary, and we can give them a take-home vehicle and pay for their gas. And, we don't have to pay insurance, retirement, all that extra money on that if we can give them a take-home vehicle. So we'll give them that incentive, to help, encourage people to take those positions. Yeah, a little extra perk. Well, in this case, we were making the point that Deborah may be onto something, because she's looking out for the part-time people, because the part-time people really don't get the benefits. And there's an argument to be made that maybe if you had more part-time people, you could cut the costs, because you wouldn't have to be putting those benefits out there. So what she's trying to do is get a little bit more money for part-time people and incentivization, because last year a lot of people got raises.
Right.
Well, I know
she opened a can of worms.
Wait, but Chris Davis, retirement, mad. I get it, Chris. I get it. But so she opened a can of worms, and this thing went in a little bit of a different direction. I don't think anybody anticipated what was fixing to happen, and
I
y'all are going to
personally
love it.
think it went in a glorious direction. This might be one of the best quotes since the Zamboni moment. Here
Yeah,
we go.
and yep.
We'll do public comment after you do your amendments. That's fine.
Okay. My comment is, again, I've been talking about the part-time employees getting some type of a raise, because in 2024, there was a amendment by Mr. Montgomery Jr., and I'm going to read per minutes what was taken on November the 13th, I think it was. It says that, by Mr. Montgomery Jr., motion to amend all 2025 budgets that have a salary account in them to take out the administrative proposal for raises and replace with a $500 per month raise for all employees in the city of Bossier. And I wouldn't keep talking about this, but there's something about that word all. It was not specifically said all full-time employees. If it had said all full-time employees,
all right, hold on.
I
I'll
wouldn't
pause
have
it.
any issue with it, but it's just.
Go ahead.
You know what I appreciate about that? She's doing her homework.
She's read the ordinance.
No, she went back in time. She's reading the king's words that are recorded in the minutes of the motion that was made.
Yeah, good
Think
for
about
her.
that.
Good for her.
That's pretty sharp.
Yeah, unlike somebody else we know. But anyway, here we go.
Something about that word all. And I'm not saying give all the part-time staff a $500 increase, but Amanda had put in the budget for 2026 a 2% increase that would give the budget $10,669 more into the budget for 2026. She had already calculated to take $9,350 from the general fund, $133 from the MPC, $970 from the civic center, and $216 from the sanitation department. And I am just asking this council if they would vote to amend what Amanda had already put in progress for 2026, and it was taken out, and it was not even documented in the minutes of the last meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago. So that is my take on that. And I'm making a motion to add
2% to part-time employees.
for the part-time employees. And I think there's only
Wow. So let me pause it there for a second. You're right, Duke. That is very good. Something about, again, I go back to, if we get rid of all the people that have been there for decades, we'll get rid of all the institutional knowledge, and the newbies won't know what they're doing, and they'll be so confused. I don't think so.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's pretty impressive to, I mean, look, you got to be tight. This council, they're green, but they're free. They're free to just go where they want to go, and they're doing it. They don't even know their own limitations. And I got to say, and some of y'all may like it, some of you may not, and that's fine. We all have our favorites. We all have our people we don't like, but having this open debate and having these meetings, not getting hostile, not screaming at each other, and hat tip to Smith. Chris Smith is having to, I hate to say, be the moderator, being the chair of this thing, but keeping it all together and not allowing these people to go at each other's throats, because there's a lot of them that are not hip on what Deborah Ross is saying.
Right.
But what she's saying is right, and she's doing the right thing, going back, saying, okay, this is actually this was the motion, this was the words that were spoke, this is what was voted on. I mean, she's heading down the right road.
Yeah, and as Cassie Rogers commented, and we've said ad nauseum, Richard Ray's famous quote, "Words matter." All right, here we go.
Was it? I can't remember. I had it written down.
I think there's maybe 28.
There are 28 approved positions and 17 are filled. And the reason it was not in the budget today, there was not a formal amendment made, and so that was why it's not in today. And so that was what we were going through.
Okay.
With making the
All right,
amendments,
so
proposing.
So Councilwoman Ross is making a motion to do a 2% raise to all part-time employees on top of the, right, this, and for the record, I'm thinking, this does not include the part-time city councilmen. This is just, and women, this is just the part-time city employees. Right. So I just want to make sure that's clear because there's a camera pointing at me right now.
Yeah, no, not us.
Ham bone
All right, so
incoming.
that's your motion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, does Ms. Ross have a second for her motion?
Tee up the bull in the china closet. Here
I've
we
got
go.
some questions. You want me to go ahead and second it first?
Yeah, all right,
I'll
we got a
second
second,
it.
we got a second by
Okay.
Councilman Cochran. All right. Now, that amendment's open for discussions.
Okay. As y'all know, I was totally against giving a pay raise for part-time employees. Talking with Ms. Ross, and we've done some investigating and digging through the budget. I guess if you want to come up, Ms. Nottingham, I've got a couple of questions that we need to get cleared up.
I like
looking
it.
at the
I like
budget
it.
from 24 to 25.
He's setting the stage. He
Oh,
already knows the answer. He knows the question. He already knows the answer, and then he's setting the stage.
Oh yeah.
As
He's
as
teeing it
rough
up.
rough as we are describing Hambone, the capitalist pig here, he is. This is polished stuff right here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Good stuff.
It's veiled in this, just bravado. I like it.
He was
I like
on a
it.
mission.
I like. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Y'all listen carefully here.
For the city attorney's office. Everyone in that office got a pay increase. There was 5 employees. All 5 got a pay increase. Mr. Ray has always said that he is a part-time employee of the city of Bossier. It's on record 999,000 times that he says he's on record as a part-time employee, but he got a pay increase.
He does work part-time.
It gets better.
His assistant city attorney
This
position
gets better.
is classified in the charter. It's not a part-time position.
So if y'all think that is good, it's going to get better here in just a second.
Oh, wait a minute. What happened?
Oh, that's
Why did it stop?
that's the end of the video. That's where Richard Ray ran up there and yanked the Ethernet cord out.
What? Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. What did the video just stopped right there?
Yeah, it literally just stopped.
Let's see, I'm playing coy.
But the live stream stopped. Anyway, I'm telling you, Jacob said that, well, we'll hear in a second, but Jacob said that Richard Ray was in Baton Rouge. I don't know if I believe that. I think he ran up there and yanked the network cable out.
Wait, you jumped ahead. Nobody knows that because we haven't seen that part yet. Because look, for y'all watching the show, right then at that moment right here that you just saw, that's when the live stream ended.
Yeah,
it stopped.
Just cut
all
off.
of a sudden. Just miraculous. And look, I will. Would it be appropriate for us to say a colleague in journalism? Is that right? A colleague in journalism said, ironic. I know I'm trying to expand my horizons here. A colleague in journalism said, that's the same thing that happened to the police jury here not long ago when they were talking about the budget.
Somebody magically pulls the cord. Yes. Yeah, pretty close.
The cord, the feed magically just ends. But so recap, Hambone, and when I seen it, Y'all all know that meme or whatever where Chris Rock, where him and what's the Ice-T or whatever, they're in that movie Fridays,
Oh
and
yeah,
a lot of
Freaky
people are
Friday
like,
or whatever.
what the hell are you talking about, Duke? If you know, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But they're sitting up, they're smoking weed on the deck, and Debo, like, I don't know, y'all are
Don't
this.
them.
Yeah, and Debo gets knocked out, or he knocks somebody out, and they're stoned on the porch of this house, and they go, "Damn!" I can never get that out of my mind, right? But that was what I was thinking when
Right.
Hambone goes, "Well, isn't Richard Ray part time?" I went,
Drop the mic.
"Damn!"
But here's the problem. He could have dropped the mic 2 or 3 times in this. Here we go.
Makes sense.
So is he full-time or is he part-time?
He is part-time.
Okay. He's part-time. I want the city vehicle parked here before the end of the day. There's
Wait, did y'all hear that? Wait, we got to go back and play that again. Listen closely.
If that makes sense.
So is he full-time or is he part-time?
Listen
He is
carefully.
part-time.
Okay. He's part-time. I want the city vehicle parked here before the end of the day.
I want the city vehicle parked here before the end of the day. Richard Ray has said ad nauseum he's part-time. And it's true. He's
Oh, yeah.
He's a part-time assistant to city attorney. He's a part-time assistant DA. He's a part-time lawyer in his law practice. I mean, he's time and a half on everything. I don't know.
Oh, but this gets so much better. Because the city attorney's actually going to weigh in here about parking the vehicle.
Like Chris Davis, how you gonna get fired on your day off? And they yanked his wheels from him.
Damn.
Here we go.
There's no part-time employees that get a take-home city vehicle. So that is to be parked here.
Okay.
I mean, the rules are rules. So he was a part-time employee that got a pay increase while nobody else did. That is, I was totally against this till all of this was brought to light to me.
Okay.
So now we have to go back and give every part-time city employee a pay raise.
Now, refresh my memory. It's sad out if you're still in the comments watching the show. Refresh my memory. I know that the city attorney's office, Jacobs and Richard Ray, I believe, got a pay raise about a year or two ago before this citywide increase that they did out of the blue. And there was some discussion about it. Duke, I know we discussed it on the show because I was trying to couch my words because that was when Jacobs was going through his medical issues and all that. And I was trying not to be too harsh on him. So this would, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, I hadn't had time to go back and check, but this would be the second raise that the city attorney's office has gotten.
Yeah, I mean, and if I was a part-time employee and I know that one part-time employee, simply because they're in the city attorney's office, got a raise and I didn't get a raise, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
You damn right. And I mean, if I'm a part-time employee in the other divisions, do I get a take-home vehicle? But more importantly, do I get a take-home vehicle that allows me to, well, no limitations?
I
I'll be
wonder if
nice
he
and
gets
say no limitations.
Does he get a vehicle from the DA's office too? What does he just pick one whatever day of the week? I mean, how does he do that? How does he juggle this?
Well, what would be interesting, does he get per diem for DA office business and then being compensated for cities? Oh, I can see a public information request going left and right. Oh, okay. Okay, City of Bossier, public information request incoming.
Yeah.
DA's office, public information request incoming. I don't know. We got to ask. It's what we do.
Here we go.
Okay.
That's all I've got to say.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Hammond. Is there any?
And I got to point out, Tommy is just sitting there. That's
Well, what the hell's Tommy going to say?
He's the one that hired him. I mean, he could have at least offered him his Tahoe.
But he's a part-time employee. Wait a minute. Didn't they?
Is he getting paid full-time salary? I know they were bumping him to about 100,000 or more. So is that 100,000 or whatever that salary is for the assistant city attorney? Is that 100,000 if he's full-time? So he's only part-time. How many hours a week is he actually working? And so what salary is he actually drawing? I know I'm not crazy. I know that those salaries were published before the citywide pay raise.
Look, this gets better. We just got to keep going.
Okay, here we go.
Play.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
I second.
No, we already have a motion and a second. Ms. Ross made the motion, you made the second on that.
I think he's asking about Mr. Hammond's in the vehicle.
What's that?
Are you asking about the vehicle?
Yeah, I'll make them, I mean, rules are rules. We've already passed that.
He's even correcting Phyllis. Brian's on a
And
roll.
I'm sorry, we abide by the rules. Everybody at this city is going to abide by the rules.
We just adopted the vehicle use
Yes,
policy, which had
they
your
adopted
amendment.
that, and that strictly says in there, no part-time city employee will have a take-home city vehicle.
So that brings an interesting question. They did pass that ordinance. He's in violation of the ordinance. Is there any penalty? Is there any teeth to this? Do they fire him? I mean, what's the penalty? What if any other part-time city employee got a company vehicle and drove it home?
Well, whose responsibility is it to enforce that ordinance? The mayor? Oh, wait a minute. We could file a complaint with the AG. We could get Liz Merle to enforce these ordinances when the mayor or city
We'll add it to
government
the
won't
list.
or the district attorney
Take a
well,
number, Duke.
no, we can't. No,
And
we
there's a
can't
lot of
enforce the
numbers.
rules in Bossier. We can't enforce the rules in Bossier. No,
Right.
there's no law. There's no law in Bossier. You can have all the chickens you want.
Paging Liz Moreau. Paging Liz Moreau. There is a parish up here. It's called Bossier, in this city called Bossier City. Help.
Nope. Nope. It is not a part of her jurisdiction. The state
Maybe we
boundaries
need
go
super
all the
senator.
way. Everything but Bossier is in Liz Merle's district.
Maybe we need
But I
Super
digress.
Senator Adam Bass on the job and Super Senator
Look-
Alan Seabiscuit.
Well, maybe Seabiscuit is deciding he needs to be a district attorney in Caddo because I think there's going to be some redrawn districts. I wonder if the good governor may have some influence on Senate districts and somebody may not have a favorable Senate district anymore. But that's totally, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. I think there's more to
Right.
this story coming.
Yeah. All right. So I can't remember. Let's see if there's any more dialogue right here. And I've got a couple other points. And
Oh, there is.
Kind of start wrapping up. Okay, here we go.
President.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Mr.
yes,
Ray,
Mr.
as I was
Jacobs.
way back from New Orleans, he had an argument in front of the Louisiana
Oh.
Supreme Court. I don't know when he's due back in town, so. I
Was
don't-
that for the city of Bossier?
He's not in the city vehicle.
Not in a city vehicle. He was with the 26 JDC DA's office. He was defending an appeal on 3 counts of a possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Oh, trying to get the sympathy there, Jacobs. Good try.
Well, tomorrow
right.
then.
All right, so the amendment.
What'd he say?
So tomorrow then. I want the city marshals to show up at Richard Ray's house and take possession of the city-owned vehicle first thing in the morning.
Now, see, I got bad information. I was told that he was in the city vehicle on the way to or on the way back. I was told he was in the city vehicle on the way back from the Louisiana Supreme Court and that hearing that was unrelated to Bossier City. Well, maybe, I'm not going to say my source was wrong. They may actually be right. How would we know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do a public information request for that. Do they have some kind of log sheet for the vehicles?
Well, they got to pay fuel receipts and all of that and mileage. I mean, how would Jacobs know?
Yeah. Could be interesting. All right, here we go.
How does Jacobs know? Interestingly. Anyway, go ahead.
Table is 2% pay raise. That was a motion by Councilwoman Ross, a second by Councilman Cochran. Is there any other council comment on this? Is there any yes, ma'am.
I do have a question for clarification, because I know that Ms. Williamson's going to have this question for clarification. Is that all part-time employees regardless of when they started?
What was the numbers that you provided to us a couple
It's
weeks
based
ago?
on all.
All, okay, then let's just do, are you good with that, Ms. Ross?
I'm fine with that.
All right. But this is all current employee, not unfilled positions, correct?
It would cover the unfilled. Yes.
It would cover the unfilled
So
positions?
that someone, yeah.
Okay, all right, so,
I've got a question then. So if that covers the unfilled positions also, what is that dollar amount going to be? That's included
Yes,
in
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
okay. Does everybody have clarity on Ms. Ross's amendment? Is there any other questions from the council on Ms. Ross's amendment? All right, thank you. Is there any public comment on Ms. Ross's amendment?
And Cassie, I think, brought up a couple of
Cassie
good points
Rogers,
here.
Bossier City, Louisiana, 71112. I have a question, and it's simply because I don't have it in front of me, but were the part-time employees in the employee study that we did? No. So we have no idea. Are the current part-time employees at the minimum standard?
Yes, excellent.
For whatever their employment is, even a part-time employee has a minimum standard? Like what?
I did not look at, we have, our minimum, we have them at $11.45 an hour. But
A minimum standard for what they're doing? I mean.
I did not compare it with our salary study.
Okay. Maybe we need to do that as well, a salary study for part-time employees to make sure we're paying them the correct amount. I think wherever you are in your life or whatever you're doing, if part-time work could be full-time, if that's what, for themselves, if that's all they can do, they should be getting the appropriate amount paid for them. And I think maybe the 2% needs to be looked at a little bit harder.
Well,
Just
we'll
simply
be
for
doing
that.
it- We'll be doing another salary study.
Well,
at the end of
2% is
this year.
great, so I think y'all should totally do that, but I think a salary study with part-time employees is important too, because someone who digs concrete for 5 hours and then goes home to their children, that's still important. He should be being paid the same thing. Thank you.
Just as important as that guy that approves the parking lots.
You got to have a digger to put a new parking lot, right?
Exactly. All right. So let's jump just slightly ahead. Hammond's had the budget acts out today. Let's listen to this. This is actually pretty good.
Not the meat axe.
Oh, yeah.
Motion carries.
I'm sorry about that. Is there any other amendments to the budget?
Yes, Mr. President, I do. I know that I had made one, I guess, either last meeting or the meeting before, pertaining the money for the Chamber of Commerce. I would just like to amend that to $10,000.
So you would like the,
Change it from the 25,000 to 10,000.
Paging Lisa Friday Johnson. Paging Lisa Friday Johnson. They just cut some of your funding out. All right. And then, not even really a minute or two later, he was on the Arts Council. Here we go.
And shake your head. This is nothing personal. This is just coming from a city standpoint with, we have a new position coming up in the city that I think that they could handle this. I would like to make a budget amendment that the $50,000 to the Arts Council for the management of the plaza is revoked.
Ooh. Yanking that 50 grand.
Mr. Hammonds is making a motion that the $50,000 for the management of the East Bank Plaza currently appropriated to the Bossier Arts Council be removed. Is there a second to that amendment?
I'll second it with you.
All right, Mr. Cochran with the second. Is there any public comment? I was looking right at him. I knew he was about to come up here.
I think Mr. Hammonds teed this one up pretty good, too.
I haven't seen this.
We consider ourselves
Oh, this is great.
stewards of the citizens of Bossier City's money. We provide free entertainment to that plaza, which results in economic gain to the businesses around it. We use that $50,000 in the most expeditious way that we absolutely can. It is my firm belief, both as a private business owner and as someone who frequents the East Bank Plaza, not just because of my affiliation to the BAC, but because I live here, that has become a shining gem just in the entire northeast or northwest Louisiana region. I would urge you to give grave consideration to a thought of removing us from as the entity that runs that plaza, because we run it for the citizens of Bossier.
Please don't
We
take
don't
our
run
money
it for
away.
a profit.
Please.
We don't run it to make anything out of it. We run that to ensure that all of the citizens of Bossier have an area that they can go, where they can afford, where they can see cultural events, unlike anything that they can see anywhere else in North Louisiana. I would just urge the council to give grave consideration. Removing that funding from us would make it extraordinarily difficult to provide the type of event planning and projects that we have been able to do to date. And I think if we weren't the ones that were running it, I'm not sure you would see the same economic impact to the surrounding businesses. And I urge you, I know all of you to be reasonable people that are attempting to do the best that you can. I would just urge you to give consideration to those issues before you made such a vote. That's all I have. Thank you.
Good presentation.
I've got a couple of questions for you. So y'all had 4 events there last year?
No, sir. We had far more than 4.
Well, we didn't get a report, so we have no idea.
I absolutely understand
No,
that,
I mean,
Councilman.
you see where I'm coming from?
No,
We-
100%.
We fought this battle about 3 years ago. Myself, Councilman Smith, and Councilman Maggio, we fought this battle. And we were assured when we gave them their funding back that nothing like this would ever happen again. And here we are.
That's understood,
I mean, they were supposed to give quarterly reports. As they gave reports, we were to release more money.
I got to give him credit. That was another perfect tee up by Hammonds, because did you hear how he did that? Y'all had 4 events. Oh no, we had far more than that. Well, I wouldn't know because we didn't get our report.
Knew the answer before you asked the question.
He must be going to law school or something lately. I don't know. Maybe he's getting out of construction. He's going to be a lawyer. Surely not.
Good grief. Brian Hammond's a lawyer? Could you imagine? Holy crap.
All right. So they got a little more tit for tat. It's kind of important. We'll listen to this and we'll start wrapping up.
They gave a report, we would release more money. So, you know, I mean.
All I can say in response to that, Councilman Hammonds, is at that point in time, I was not affiliated with the BAC, and the person who was tasked with that has resigned, largely after some discoveries of issues like this. I would say this to you in all honesty. Councilman Hammonds, I will come back here and lobby for you to take that $50,000 back from us if in a year you have any problems at all, provided we have until the end of the calendar year, to make sure that we have the proper people in place. Now, I know you've been given that assurance before, and that's all I can do. I know what we're doing now, and I know what we're attempting to do. And I absolutely have to sit here and honestly acknowledge you are absolutely correct. The reporting that you have received has been insufficient. We have made great strides, and you just received a report that was our first attempt at getting that out and getting it done. That will happen expeditiously, on time, and to your liking, and if it's not, it will be made so.
Look, got to give this guy credit. I don't know who this guy is, but he's taking accountability for it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was somebody else's responsibility. I mean, but this guy's stepping up there. I mean, you know, it sounds good.
I don't know if it's a $50,000 speech or not, but he's giving it all he's got.
Hey, but I mean, look, I'm not the one voting though. I mean, it sounds good. What do they do?
Well, let's see.
Then how about we do this? As you have an event that y'all have planned on the books, you turn in everything about that event to us, and we release $10,000 at a time.
Councilman, I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, it's your guys, it's your job to be stewards of the city's funds as well. Personally, if you want us to show you what we did for what you gave us, that's what we should be doing now, and I have no problem with that.
Councilman Hammond, just real quick for clarity's
Please
sake,
don't take our money away.
If we were going to continue to give them money, we'd still have to have it budgeted.
Yeah, I know that.
So I don't think we can just.
I'm thinking for just a second.
He just
You
wanted to
could
drag that
amend
guy over the
the
coals
joint
a little bit.
cooperative endeavor agreement that exists to include language that would.
That way. Well, the other one does. I think it already has in there that they
It has
get the money quarterly or
quarterly
something like that
payment.
as
It does.
reports are turned in. Is that right, Amanda?
That was what I was going to suggest, if you want to go through with this amendment, and then when we redo the cooperative endeavor agreement, we could put the funding, we could tie it with there, it could be a budget amendment at that time.
Okay.
So,
Let's do that. You good with that? Or do you want me to?
All right, well, no, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote to remove their funding currently, and then we're going to amend their CEA with the city to say as they do their quarterly reporting, and we'll do a budget amendment at that time.
and I take it this is just for the plaza management, so it's only the
Just-
$50,000.
Just for the plaza
So
management.
the regular funding is still in place.
Yes, they're still getting their regular funding. It's just for the plaza management.
Okay.
So that I'm completely understanding, and you'll have to.
You're still getting your regular money.
No, I
Yeah,
understood.
this is just for the plaza management.
So would we do the event, do the reporting, and then receive the funds? Is that what I'm hearing? Or we would not receive the funds until we did a new cooperative agreement?
Well, we'll get the CEA, I mean, we'll get that changed quickly. Yeah, you'll still, all the thing that will be changing in there is about the 50,000 that you get for managing the plaza.
Right, and you simply want us to do what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes. I just want you to
Right.
do what you're supposed to be doing to get the money.
There's no problem there.
Count
That's
and
how it should
verify.
be.
That's all that I'm wanting.
Mr. Jacobs, could you get a new CEA drafted? Because, so they have funding now through the end of this year.
Correct.
But we'll need this in place prior to the start of January
It would
1.
just be amending the payment of it would still be, as I understand it, a total of $50,000 to be paid.
Quarterly.
Or doled out, so to speak, at $10,000
Or whatever it comes out to quarterly.
quarterly, depending on.
Could we-
Depending on certain reporting requirements that I think pursuant to that cooperative endeavor agreement are already in place.
They're already in
What-
place.
And
But if we remove the funding and we can either amend the CEA or leave it the same,
Lord-
then it
Lord
would
forbid
require
we
a budget
enforce an
amendment ordinance
existing
to
agreement.
restore the 50,000. So,
Okay. Is everybody, we've muddied. the
Everybody,
waters.
yeah, clear as mud.
But I think I understand. Ms. Nottingham, do you have any comment?
I know January 1st is the target, but they are on a different fiscal year.
Okay.
So y'all are June so if that,
So we've
helps
got-
any.
So their current funding lasts them until June?
They're in their budget cycle. I mean, our funding,
All right, so let me see if we can get to the vote here. Let's see where they end up going.
report per quarter and then 12/5. And that's, quite frankly, to be honest, council, that's what we were supposed to be doing to
Yes.
begin with.
Okay. So you're good with that?
It's what we should have been doing.
All right, perfect.
All
I
right, here
love
we go.
when a good plan comes together.
Can you repeat that?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
just vote yes. No.
Thank you,
We're
council.
gonna, we're
Okay.
removing the $50,000 currently.
All right. So that's pretty
Okay.
much all we have for the meeting video for now, anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty boring.
Yeah, it was,
That
but
lost me.
well, but the main thing about it is, Hammonds called him to the carpet and was like, "Hey, we ain't getting this. Y'all aren't doing your part. We cutting off funding. I'm axing money from the chamber. We're axing money from the Bossier Arts Council, and to this guy's credit, he got up there and he took responsibility for it and all that, and pleaded for the extra 50K. And look, what all goes on down there? Have you ever been down to the plaza or seen any whatever the Arts Council does? Does anybody know in the comments? Y'all let us know. Have y'all gone down to the plaza? Do
Yeah,
you
no,
enjoy what the Bossier Arts Council does?
I don't go down there. I mean, look, I'm glad it's down there or whatever, but look, school. I mean, look, I worked right up to the end of coming on this show.
Right.
But I'm glad they're doing stuff. I hear there's some up and coming things down there for the boardwalk. I mean, I hope when the Supreme Court thing doesn't come out that the city of Bossier doesn't get a big goose egg on what's going to come from down there. I remember a time when there were some people that came and visited you and I, Rex, frequently about some of the old guards' activities regarding
Right.
securing property down there.
There's some
That
interesting things in that kerfuffle.
some old stories that
Right.
could come back around. It's going to be amazing to see how that progresses. But
Right.
I don't
Miss
know.
Ruth, Miss Ruth says, Rex, go a little further. Another guy comes up. I don't have the video right now, Miss Ruth. That's literally all that the city had uploaded as we were getting ready for the show as of about 6 or 6:15. So they're supposed to have the rest of the video, the entire video uploaded probably sometime tonight or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. So, yeah, so very interesting. I won't dwell very long on Crackman's lawsuit because I'm about ready to jump off here and go get some supper. But Chris Crackman, the cattle commission over there has seemingly been a little vindictive towards him and the whole situation, where our attorney general pays attention to that side of the river, but not over here, and has caused the cattle commission some headache over there about this whole Bernie Sanders proclamation. And then Chris magically gets sued for some comments. His case was dismissed. I think it was dismissed with prejudice. So good for Mr. Crackman. Now he's having to deal with his attorney fees and trying to get the parish to actually do what they were supposed to do, since he was acting as a Caddo Parish commissioner when the radio interviews and social media was done and all that, and they're trying to drag their feet. I'll share all that video out on Bossier Watch, do a special video just for that. Mr.
It almost seems like for some reason the attorney general thinks that Richard Ray is above the law, and anybody that's connected to Richard Ray or has been associated with him is above the law. I mean, it's almost like there's some higher power that has
No.
influence over things in Bossier to prevent oversight or accountability.
I think it's even simpler than that, because she hasn't been taking selfies with Richard Ray that I've seen. But I think it's even simpler than that. She feels like she's got Bossier Parish lock, stock, and barrel. We're an exceedingly red parish. I think, if I remember correctly, she carried Bossier Parish pretty good, and so she just doesn't care. It's a political move. Maybe
Yeah.
she's trying to shore up a few more votes over on that side of the river if she runs again.
It's probably the majority of that she doesn't have to worry about nothing in Bossier. But, maybe, I don't know, maybe she's got some connections from her office to the DOJ that may link even into the House of Representatives or something like that. Or maybe there's some connection there. I don't know. Maybe
so.
inquiring minds that want to poke around on what I'm beating around the bush at. Maybe y'all can figure it out yourself, some of you sleuths out there. Because I have a theory, but
there's theory and reality, and sometimes the two meet.
Sometimes they do. Anyway, hey.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Lowrie?
The chickens have came home to roost.
We have gone full circle. All right. Well, look, I've thoroughly enjoyed the show again. We got to talk about a lot of different topics, including Hammonds was just on a roll this afternoon. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So we appreciate all of y'all for watching and commenting. That makes the show go better.
Play the rooster and close the show.
Let's play the rooster and close the show. Folks, we will see y'all again next Tuesday night unless we do another show before then. Here we go with the rooster. Let him crow.